She had eaten 99 livers, each one taken from a man who loved her. Each one swallowed while his body was still warm. She needed only one more, and she would never have to kill again.
In Korean legend,
A fox that lives for 1,000 years gains 9 tails and the power to take human form. But to shed her fur forever, she must consume 100 human livers. They call this creature Kumiho, the 9-tailed fox. And this is the story of the 100th. The year was 1743. The village of Wulchen sat at the foot of Mount Ode in Gangwon province, where the fog never fully lifted and the pine trees grew so thick that sunlight barely touched the ground. It was the kind of place where old stories still felt true. Park Dal-soo was 28, and the most educated man in a village that had no use for education. He had failed the civil service examination twice. The scholars in Hanyang called him the mountain hermit, brilliant but too stubborn to write what the examiners wanted to hear. So he came home to his mother's crumbling hanok and to the mountain that didn't care whether he passed or failed. It happened on the first night of the 12th month, when the cold turned your breath to ice before it left your lips. Dal-soo had gone to check his fish traps by the frozen stream when he heard weeping. A woman's voice, thin and desperate, carried by the wind through bare branches. He found her kneeling barefoot in the snow. Her silk hanbok, crimson red, finer than anything he had ever seen, was torn at the shoulder. Her hair, black as ink, clung to her wet face. But when she looked up at him, Dal-soo forgot the cold entirely. She was beautiful, not like a painting, beautiful like a wound you cannot look away from. Her voice was soft and low, like wind moving through bamboo.
Please, my husband's family cast me out. I have walked for 3 days. I cannot feel my feet.
Her name, she said, was Wolwa, Moonflower, a merchant's widow from Wonju with no family and nowhere to go. Every word was a lie, delivered with the precision of someone who had told such lies 99 times before. Dal-soo carried her home on his back. He could feel her heartbeat against his spine. Slow, impossibly slow, like something hibernating. Her skin was ice cold, but she did not shiver. He told himself it was shock. He told himself a lot of things that winter. Mother Park took one look at Wolwa and felt her prayer beads grow hot in her hands.
No, no woman walks through those mountains alone in winter. Not a human woman.
But Dal-soo had already decided. He gave Wolwa the warmest room and fed her rice porridge with his own hands. That night, while Wolwa slept, Mother Park crept to the village shrine and burned incense until her fingers blistered. When she returned, she found fox tracks in the snow leading to and from their gate. She swept them away before Dal-soo could see. Wolwa recovered quickly, too quickly. Within 3 days, she was cooking meals that tasted better than anything Dal-soo had ever eaten, and debating classical poetry with the ease of a palace scholar. When he asked where she had learned such things, she smiled and said, "My husband had many books." What she did not say. She had lived through 6 dynasties. She had seduced poets who were now dust, and scholars whose names survived only as footnotes. She had perfected the art of being exactly what each man needed, because that was how you got close enough to take what you required. Dal-soo proposed within a month. His mother wept. The village whispered. The blind shaman Maeng, who lived in a cave above the village and spoke to spirits no one else could see, sent word through a child. "Tell the scholar's mother, The fox is already inside the house. Mother Park went to the shaman's cave. Maeng sat cross-legged before a dying fire, her white clouded eyes staring at nothing.
Your son's bride has no shadow when the moon is full. She has no reflection in still water after dark. And the birds? Have you noticed? The birds have stopped singing near your house.
What is she?
She is what lives in the mountain when the mountain sleeps. She is the last breath before death. She is beautiful because beautiful things are the most dangerous traps.
She paused.
She is Kumiho.
They married on the first day of spring. Wolhwa wore crimson silk and gold. She was so beautiful that the village women wept, though later none of them could say whether they wept from joy or from some unnamed grief. Mother Park did not attend. She locked herself in her room with her prayer beads and wept in a different way entirely. For 3 months, Dalsu was the happiest man in Gangwon province. Wolhwa was the perfect wife, gentle, brilliant, passionate. He did not notice that she never ate meat. He did not notice that she disappeared every moonless night. He did not notice that she returned each time with her lips stained dark red. Then the men began to disappear. A woodcutter from the neighboring village, found in a ravine, his face frozen in pure ecstasy, a hole torn through his chest. His liver was gone. The magistrate called it a bear attack. Bears do not leave their victims smiling. The second was a traveling merchant, floating in the frozen stream with that same impossible smile. The third was a young farmer. His wife found him at dawn, arms spread wide, chest hollowed like a bowl. She said he looked grateful, as if whatever killed him had given him something precious first. Mother Park counted the deaths and counted the nights Wolhwa vanished. The numbers matched. She went to the shaman's cave.
How do I save my son?
Blind Meng smiled, a terrible smile full of pity and teeth.
You cannot save someone who does not wish to be saved. But you can give him a chance to save himself.
She pressed a cloth pouch into Mother Park's hand. Dog's blood and dried mugwort.
Sew this into his collar. The fox cannot take his liver while he wears it. But she will know you did it.
That night, Dalsu woke at midnight to find Wolhwa sitting at the edge of their bed, staring at nothing. In her cupped hands, she held a small sphere of light, pale blue, pulsing gently, like a living thing. No larger than a chestnut, but it lit the entire room with cold fire. He had seen the Yewu Gusol, the fox marble. Every Kumiho carries one inside her body. It holds the essence of every liver she has consumed, every life she has taken. If she swallows 100, the marble transforms, and the fox becomes human forever. Wolhwa's marble held 99. Dalsu found white fox fur caught in the gatepost, bright as moonlight. It smelled of pine, wet earth, and Wolhwa's hair. He did not confront her. He waited for the next moonless night and followed her into the forest, past the frozen stream, past the shrine, deep into pines where the fog felt like drowning. He found her in a clearing, crouching over an unconscious man. Her fingernails had become black claws. 9 white tails fanned behind her like petals of some terrible flower. And her face, her beautiful, beloved face, was split down the middle, half human, half fox. One amber eye wept, the other, golden and slitted, was focused on the task.
Wolhwa.
His voice came out as barely a whisper. She looked up. The fox marble blazed blue between her teeth. The man beneath her was already dead. She opened her mouth, and the marble fell into her blood-soaked palm. 99 lives glowed inside it. The 100th, still warm, was sliding down her throat.
You were not supposed to see this.
Her voice cracked. The fox marble pulsed in her bloody hand.
Not you. Never you.
She told him everything. 1,000 years old, 99 men dead by her hand. Born a fox in the mountains of Silla before Joseon existed.
I have been many women. A courtesan in Korea, a nobleman's daughter, a shaman's apprentice.
Her voice was steady, flat, like someone reading a list of debts.
I learned to make each man love me. And when they trusted me completely, I took the one thing I needed.
But you were supposed to be the 100th. I chose you because you were lonely and kind and too intelligent to be suspicious of beauty. I was going to take your liver on our wedding night.
She looked at her clawed hands.
I couldn't. I stood over you with my claws out and I could not do it.
Why? She looked at him with both eyes, the amber one and the gold one, and said the most dangerous word a 1,000-year-old fox can say.
Because I love you.
And a Kumiho who loves is a Kumiho who starves.
Dalsu did not run. He sat down across from the creature that had murdered 99 men. He reached into his dopo and pulled out his father's knife. He held it out to her, handle first.
Take mine.
The fox marble blazed so bright it burned shadows into the snow. Her claws extended, then retracted. One swipe. That was all it would take. She dropped the marble in the snow.
I will not. I would rather remain a fox for eternity than become human with your death on my hands. You are the first man in 1,000 years who made me wish I had never started counting.
The villagers found Dalsu at dawn, unconscious in the snow, alive and unharmed. Of Wolhwa, there was no trace. Only 9 claw marks carved deep into the frozen earth around his body, as if something had circled him all night, protecting him from the cold. Beyond the claw marks, a single set of footprints, a woman's bare feet, walked away toward the mountain. They grew smaller as they went. Halfway up the slope, they changed. The human prints became paw prints, 4 small fox paws pressing lightly into the snow, walking away into the fog, never to return. Dalsu never married. He lived alone until he was an old man, with a fox marble that no longer glowed, and a silver crescent binyo he kept against his heart until the day he died. In Wolchen village, they still tell the story. They say love and tragedy are the same animal, and sometimes that animal has 9 tails.